Welcome back to B6 and Beyond. We have a very special guest for you today. We have Daps from We Are the Southstand to preview Manchester City at home. Daps, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Good, not bad, thank you, not bad.
Good. Again, thank you for coming on. First question for me. At the moment, it's been a relatively decent start for City for the campaign from the outside looking in.
Yeah.
How are you feeling at the moment as a Manchester City fan?
Yeah, good man, good. We had a harsh kind of reality last season with the run that you actually probably, when we lost to you last season, it was probably at the pinnacle of our shitness. Sorry, excuse my French. Sorry, but whereas based on that this season, I can't lie, I'm quite happy with where we are at the moment. We are going massively below the radar in my eyes. I'm not going to say with the rest of the football world, but I think with Arsenal fans in particular, they seem to be downplaying us a bit, which I think is a bit stupid to downplay a City team. But I'm happy with where we're going. I certainly am not here screaming we're going to win the league yet. But at the same time, I do believe we will be in a title race. Whereas at the start of the summer, I wasn't so sure on that.
I don't disagree because there does seem to be a lot of talk about about Arsenal winning the league, and I've also heard quite a lot of murmurings about Liverpool winning the league, rightfully so, really recently when they spent all the money that they did in the summer. You would expect them to be mentioned, but I haven't really heard many people mentioning Manchester City, which is strange considering Guardiola's record. And realistically, your squad is still ridiculous. So the fact that City aren't getting mentioned is crazy to me.
Yeah. It's something that people at the start of the season, I mean, if you take the Arsenal game as an example, which, Arsenal fans come out of that game and Arsenal fans are, I've been told we're gonna win the treble at the Etihad. I've been told that by an Arsenal fan. But you look at that game between City and Arsenal, and however much Arsenal want to put a spin on a game of football is a game of football. We know the rules, and Manchester City were 1-0 up until the 92nd minute, right? But to Arsenal fans, they completely dominated us the whole game, and it's like, okay, but you failed to break us down then. Either way, it took a City mistake for you to get back in it. So, yeah, I'm happy where we are, and the thing is now we're starting to get players back, which I think is going to help us as well.
Massively so. So talk to me about City's system. Has there been any tactical tweaks this season from Guardiola?
Yes, he tweaks every game. It was something that we needed to see, I think, and it's probably the one. My one concern is that maybe it's starting to go back already. For me, with Doku and Savio playing as out and out wingers, it hasn't worked for City. The whole of last season we played with them. Ultimately, they're two players that, in my opinion, they don't look for Haaland enough. You look at Jack Grealish when he was at City. The first thing he did before the ball has arrived at his feet is he was scanning the pitch, looking to see where Haaland was. Right. Same thing. Foden does that. Even Nico O'Reilly did it the other day. Doku and Savio seem to struggle to do the scanning of the pitch, and if you look at City this season, when we start moving the ball quickly, that's when we're at our best. Whenever the ball gets to Doku and Savio, they seem to slow the game down, and it becomes about take-ons and not about getting the ball to Haaland. And that's a frustration. Now, Doku had this period where he was being allowed to drift inside, and we saw a completely different Doku. But for some reason, over recent weeks, Doku's started to be, and I don't know if it's a pet thing or if it's a Doku thing, but Doku started to hug the line again. And when Doku hugs the line, there's no end product. As with Savio's just hot and cold. And at the moment, for me, I'm kind of having a bit of a back and forth with City fans. Because apparently it's not okay to have an opinion. But for me, I'm saying at the moment, I don't think that Savio is good enough. He then went and had a great game in midweek, and I had egg all over my face, and had to come out and go, maybe I was a bit... But I think the big key for me, away from the fact defensively we've got a lot better, the big change for me this season is Erling Haaland. And so Erling Haaland, first year, second year, when we still had prime De Bruyne, Gundogan, basically midfielders all in their prime and able to create plenty from midfield. Erling Haaland was purposely told, do not drop deep, right? He was always told, no, occupy, stay up top, because the minute you drop deep, you're bringing all these defenders into the space that Gundogan, De Bruyne, Foden can operate in. So he didn't. And when you've got great midfielders, that works fine. Last season, when our midfielders have dropped off, De Bruyne's not looking the same person, Foden was not really doing anything, Gundogan was old, all of a sudden, it was like, okay, but so I'm still not allowed to drop into the middle, but in the middle we're creating nothing, and Haaland was just waiting for the wingers to get something to him. And also, then he was starting to get involved in tussles with players. You would see it where him and players would be busy pulling each other all over the place. Now, when you see Haaland doing that, you're probably going to have what is deemed a good day against Haaland. He might only score one against you, right? When he's involved in that. Now, what he seems to be doing this season is he's dropping a lot deeper. He's getting involved, and it's now bringing teams' defences into midfield, which is leaving space behind them for Haaland to run into. And then that's where you really start getting the best Haaland. But look, it's still the fundamentals of City. It still very much is triangles all over the pitch, advancing the ball. The difference is we're trying to advance it at a bit more pace now. I think more forward passing and trying to get him back behind defences, which will be interesting against you lot. So.
I'm glad you mentioned about Haaland, because that was going to be my next question, basically about him being a robot and what a start he's had to the season. So you've kind of covered that one off now. He's been ridiculous.
Do you know what it is for me? It's a really good story of when someone is given extra responsibility and then rising to it. And Haaland signed a new contract round about March. And he was made part of City's leadership group. And ever since that, it's like Haaland has become... He had an injury, I think, during that period. Then after that, he's just been a different character. It's like... I mean, he's always been a scoring machine, right? But now it's like a machine that is taking it personal if we don't win. And it's like, I'm a leader now. So I'm going to take this on my back. For me, probably my best moment of Haaland this season, despite all the goals so far, is against it was either Man United or Arsenal, one of the two teams. He made 4 interceptions in our own half in the space of in our own box, in the space of about 5 minutes. And for me, that's my best moment from Haaland, because seeing how much it's like, I'm not just scoring goals, I'm doing the defensive work for this team as well. And he's just unplayable at the moment. He really is. So
it's ridiculous. Well, we've done pretty well against him, to be honest with you, over the last few years. But
I'm good against us. Last 2 seasons.
At Villa Park, we do. At your place, it's usually roll over and have your bellies tickled. Even if we go 2-0 up, we still go and lose the game and let you win the league.
What a day that was.
I can imagine. Yeah. So, just another point. I want to just add a little bit of weight to your Savio comment. I'm not a massive fan. I'm not convinced with him in the slightest. I think Doku's got something about him, but I'm not convinced with Savio.
I've been trying to have this conversation this morning, not just about Savio, but about a few things. So, about the Villa fan, and about the Villa game. And I'll tell you this now, and it's the same about Savio. You know, sometimes when you just get a feeling, right? And from the minute we signed Savio, although aesthetically he looks good, I've just never gone, do you know what? I see something in him. And if I tried to argue that with someone, maybe I would struggle a little bit. This is me just talking as a football fan, a feeling I got. And I got a feeling on Saturday in the first half against Everton of pure frustration that I can't remember the last time I had it with a player. Now, the reason why I mentioned the Villa game is football sometimes is about feelings, and you can't put a finger on what it is. But this Aston Villa game from the start of this season, I always look at the fixture list, I've been worried about. And I don't, and I've just been on a show on NeverAFoul with a panel, and I was saying, look, if I got offered a draw now, I'd take it.
It'll be an interesting game because at home we're pretty strong. Our record's pretty decent.
It's just, there's something telling me that this is a nasty game for City. And look, at the end of the day, you've beat us the last 2 seasons. So when I then had City fans telling me, no, we definitely want 3 points here. Well, of course I want three points here, but there's just something about this game that I think if we could get a draw and get out of there, I'm not mad at that at all.
I think I'd take a draw now if you offered it me, to be honest with you. So apart from Haaland, is there any other City players ahead of the weekend that you would say will be a threat?
Foden.
He's looking back to his best, isn't he?
Yeah, so last season, it was, and do you know what, every season since he's been here, and I've said this before, get the ball to Haaland as quickly as possible. This season, the same thing is to be said for Foden. So Everton is a prime example. First half, whether it's maybe Foden wasn't offering himself enough, but I do think sometimes there's some City players at the moment, especially without Rodri there, that when Foden is in pockets but with players on him, some players are a bit reluctant to give him the ball. You shouldn't be. Give Foden the ball. The tighter the players are to Foden, the more Foden likes that. Because you give him the ball quickly, early, half turn, and he's off, right? For me, you look at the 2 goals against Everton, second half, all of a sudden we started getting the ball to Foden twice. Foden was the pass before the assist on both goals. And for me, Foden is really, really starting to come into it. Now, I do also think you need to keep an eye out for Marmoush if we use him. Because I do think that Marmoush is going to... I do think Marmoush is going to have a good season. Obviously, he started off with an injury, but I think you might see Marmoush later on in the game. And... He's got an eye for goal. He's 100% got an eye for goal.
So you mentioned injuries there. Is there many injuries for the City team? I know Cherky was out, weren't he? Is he back now?
No, so Cherky's back. We've got quite a few players come back. I mean, the key injuries we've got at the moment is the first one is Abdulkadir Khuzanov, who maybe you might not know too much about.
Centre back,
Ukrainian centre back, but so far this season he's been playing as right back.
Okay.
He's got absolute burners. He is rapid as hell. It's the minute we signed him in January, I was saying he needs to be played on the right because the issues City have had, Ruben Diaz started to look a bit not so good since Walker's left because Diaz is slow. Khuzanov is very, very fast, very, very aggressive in the challenge. Now, we haven't conceded a goal in open play since March with Khuzanov in the team. He's going below the radar with rival fans, but with City fans, he's an absolute, we love him to bits. He's really, really good. Now, he's injured at the moment. We don't know if he's back or not, because it's not a major injury, but we haven't seen anything. Now, the other one is Rodri has been confirmed as out. Rodri will not be starting. And Nico Gonzalez got a knock on Tuesday night. So that's what, before the show started, I was just having a quick check. I got told that Nico Gonzalez has trained this morning, but that's kind of unofficial. I'm waiting to see it in Pep's press conference if it's actually been confirmed or not. Because, and by the way, Gonzalez is really starting to grow into this role, covering for Rodri. He's actually, in a couple of games where he's come on for Rodri, he's looked better than Rodri. Now, I'm not saying he's better than Rodri, nowhere near. But if you think where we were last season with no cover for Rodri or previous seasons, Calvin Phillips, to have someone that can actually come in and do the job. If we don't have Gonzalez, then it will probably be Kovacic in the role. But
right. Well, that's actually a decent point to ask. What is your expected team then for this weekend?
So, my expected team is Donnarumma in goal, Nunes at right back, Diaz and Vardy as centre backs. So sorry, if you want it precise, Diaz on the right, Vardy on the left, and then Nico O'Reilly left back, and then Nico O'Reilly on the left, then Nico Gonzalez in the as DM, with Reinders and Foden, Bernardo Silva on the right, Haaland in the middle, and Doku on the left.
Still a ridiculous team, isn't it? Where is Aït-Nouri still injured? Is he?
No, he's back in training. I don't know if he's on the bench in midweek. He wasn't on the bench against Everton, but I think he's going to really struggle to get back in this team. Nico O'Reilly's come in and is looking very, very good as a left back. Aït-Nouri had a shaky start, to be honest with you. Look, Aït-Nouri looks really, really technically amazing with his feet, but defensively, I'm not too sure on him myself.
I think he was like that at Wolves, to be honest with you, though. But he's always, going forward, he's a threat and he'll get you goals and assists. So it's one of them. And when you're playing someone a poor side, he's going to be fantastic for you. But
for me, I would not be against, with kind of the fact that at the moment. And with that team, there's one interesting one. When will Ray and Cherky get a start? Because he keeps getting cameos, looking good. And all of us kind of at the moment, because we've got Doku, Bob, Savio. And none of them really have nailed down either side as wingers. So it's Cherky on the right-hand side, maybe. Now, I wouldn't be against seeing Aït-Nouri played further forward.
Yeah, it's a weird one with Oscar Bob as well, because he obviously had that really bad injury last season, but just before that, he was looking a real talent for City. So it's a bit of a...
He's looking good. He's just...
might take time.
The only thing that I think he's missing from what he had before, because technically, again, Oscar Bob, he's got such quick feet. He's getting to the same position that he was getting to before he got the injury. But it's like he's now overthinking it, whereas before he was just putting it in the back of the net. So we'll see. Oscar Bob, for me, of the three of Savio, Doku, Bob's my favourite. But we'll see on all three of them. None of them have made the place their own at this point.
Be an interesting team selection from Guardiola this weekend then. Yeah. Is there any Villa players that you are particularly cautious of ahead of the game?
Yeah. Morgan Rogers. Now, I had a conversation with with my mate about Morgan Rogers, and and I kind of said to him, how good do you think Morgan Rogers is? Because I'm not convinced. I think he's good. I don't think he's amazing. However, he's got it in the locker, and that's the issue, that he might not be great, but he's got a dagger in his locker. And that's why it worries me a bit that, and to be honest with you, I guess, just to give you a take on it, I'm not a big fan of Jude Bellingham, right? Mm-hmm. But Jude Bellingham also has it in the locker. And when a player has it in the locker, it's very, very dangerous because, they can be very quiet for the game and you switch off and next minute, good night. So I think
the issue with Rodgers is consistency. That's his problem. He's still, again, young, but he's 23 now. So you'd hope at that sort of age, if you're going to go right to the very top of football, you should be doing it on a little bit more of a consistent basis than what he probably currently is.
Now, the one thing we do have is it's against his old team, so he is going to have something to prove as well.
Like last year, he was probably one of the best players on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if I had to put you on the spot then, what would be your score prediction for the game?
I'm going to go 2-2.
I think I'd take that right now if you offered it me. So season prediction for Manchester City. What's going to happen this season? What are you going to win?
Do you know? So at the moment, this period right now, we've got you, then we've got Bournemouth at home, then we've got Liverpool at home, and these three games for me could define our season. If we can take 7 points from this, I'm happy. If we can take 9. I'll tell you we're going to win the league. If we can take 9 points from those three games, I will tell you we're going to win the league. Liverpool really surprised me with their drop-off. Arsenal look great, and Arsenal are certainly the media's favourites at the moment. But here's the thing. If City just keep within touching distance of Arsenal, and it gets to that February time, then all these Arsenal players that have had several title races against City, and things will start playing in their head. And, when City get in the title race, we don't usually lose them. So I'm kind of thinking at the moment, these three games, because look, Villa away, tough place to go. Bournemouth in amazing form, and Liverpool. we can win those 3 games, we can win the league again.
Yeah, Arsenal will get squeaky bum time and probably bottle it again. So I wouldn't be too worried about them. Their defence is absolutely fantastic. That would be
phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Yeah.
right. I think we've covered everything again. Daps, thank you for coming on, mate. We'll end it there. Make sure to head over to Daps's channel. So he's at NeverAFoul, and also We Are the South Stand.
Yeah,
Make sure to hit follow and subscribe on TikTok and also on YouTube. I don't know if you're on any other platforms.
Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Yeah, those 3.
Make sure to go and give him a follow. So, yeah, last one from me, up the Villa, and hopefully it's a good result for us this weekend.